Why is it important to be true to ourselves? Because whether we remember it or know it or believe it or not, each one of us is a unique individual, uniquely designed and equally important, because each one of us has deep meaning and purpose for being alive. But this is a process of self-discovery. We have to learn all of this wisdom and goodness and talents and intellectual, whatever that is, I'm a little tired, abilities we have inside of us. So we need to be true to ourselves. And there's a book called Happy Birthday to You by Dr. Seuss. And it was written in 1959. And of course, it's a children's book. And it was the first all-color picture book. But probably it takes place in the fantastical land of Cat-Roo. And it's where the birthday bird comes, and for everyone who reads the book, they give a magical day to them. But probably the most known little paragraph in that book is, "Today you are you, that is truer than true. And there is nobody alive who is youer than you." There is no one alive who is youer than you. That's what we're teaching our little kids, to understand and know that they're unique individuals. They're special the way they are. But how many of us remember from the time we're little, with all the thing life has to give us and all of the confusing information from the outside world, that we are special? So let's rewind thousands of years back to ancient Greece, and there etched in the stone at the temple of Apollo in Delphi, it says, "Know thyself." It's so important for us to know who we are, our limitations and our capabilities. And of course, as we know, to know from where we came. You know, it was Emerson, or no, it was not Emerson, it was Hafez, another one of my Sufi boyfriends, who said, "The talents of God are within you." All of them, the talents, they're all there right now. The talents of God are within you. How could it not be so? Because your soul is made from God's genes. How could we not be special? How could we not hold just beautiful gifts to give this world? Because we're made of special stuff. Ernest Holmes said, and I love this because it really encapsulates what this journey of life is all about. He says, all humanity, not some of humanity, not preferred humanity, not just the good ones, all of humanity is divinity waking up to itself through self-discovery. That's why some of us recognize this more than others, because we have to discover the beauty, the joy, the love, the goodness, the possibility, the creativity that's within us ourselves. We can learn and have mentors and teachers, but it's a process of self-discovery for ourselves. But all of us are on the same journey. That we are here to really learn who we are from the inside out. But too many of us try to find out from the outside in, and we get confused. Inside of us is a creative expression. And Matthew Fox, one of my favorite teachers, an Episcopal priest, he is an amazing man, and he's been here and taught us so much. He has a book called Creativity, which I've underlined in a million places, but he says creativity and God are synonymous. God is creativity, period. That's it. You know, all artists, it's an inspiration. We're all artists in some form or another, and creativity is an expression of life. That's why we're here, to be creative beings. And he explains that thousands of years ago in Africa, actually 130,000 years ago, scientists have discovered artifacts and artwork from those Africans that tell us about the first modern human life 130,000 years ago. And it's all about creativity. Creativity is our nature. So if we've lost who we are and our true selves, and we can't remember what color we are, those beautiful things that we've been heard about in our song, we just have to start remembering we're here to create. We're here to express ourselves in unique and wonderful ways. The problem is, We've been given these gifts, but we misuse our creativity. We can do that. We can use it for good, for the good of all, for ourselves, and experience all this wonderful expression of goodness, but we can misuse it because it's self-discovery. We have to learn it for ourselves, and in our ignorance. And I want you to think about, if this has happened to you, we hypnotize ourselves and we forget who we are. We think we're limited and imperfect. Yes, well, we're spiritual beings. Our spiritual side is perfect and complete and still evolving and growing. It's our human experience, our human side, that has the imperfections and the limitations that are part of our growing process. So they're all perfect also. We are perfect in our imperfections, but if we don't know that, we get hypnotized and start thinking that we're imperfect and not good enough and unworthy. And we use this creative power we have to find masks that we can put on to cover our true self. Because we want to fit in. We want to be liked. But the biggest fear people have about being authentic and true is that if somebody knows my true self, it's only you will be what you hear. That's not true. Nobody is just an only you. But our little self, our smaller self, makes up that story. It's only you. No. Remember, no one alive is more youer than you. You have something special to give the world. But we put on those masks, and we start living with these masks on. And, when we wear a mask, it makes God's intention for us, which is meant to be deep and meaningful and purposeful. It makes it shallow, and it covers up all the depth that we have to bring to the world. So we have to figure out, what is it? How can we have the courage to take off their masks and be our true self? Even though we're going to make mistakes, people might laugh at us, not everybody's going to like us, but just as Madeline said in her quote, it really doesn't, the people that mind, it really doesn't matter. We're here to learn how to express ourselves and be authentic. Brené Brown teaches so much of that. And she says, authenticity is the daily practice. It's not just once in a while. It's the daily practice of letting go of the way we think we should be. And discover and embrace who we actually are. And that's our inner work. That's the inner work. When Ernest Holmes said it's about letting our humanity connect with the divinity, so we can be who we really are. We can really express that. And I found in my life, when I looked back and I thought about, gosh, when are the times that I've had the most courage to truly be myself? Because I grew up wanting to be a good little girl and do the right thing, and it stifled who I was. But the times that I could really have the courage to break through the masks and really do things that were courageous and really in alignment with me. Because to be authentic, you have to be comfortable in your own skin and be true to what you know, what we value ourselves. We know what we value. Everybody values different things in little different ways. But it's been times of great sorrow and grief where I've been broken open, that I've really had the most courage to step out and be my true self. Times of the biggest hardship where I've had to stretch to fill in where something felt broken. So we know those little cracks in life are the way the light comes through. That inspiration we get, if it's constructive, if it's for our good, which is always for the greatest good, because when we're in alignment. So if it's a constructive inspiration, it's always life, God, goodness, whispering to us that we are one. We're one with life. So that, God only wants what's best for us. Best. So that's the urging, the pulling is that inspiration to be creative, to do something new, it doesn't have to just be something new, but it's to be more aware in life. The Sufis have a practice, which I read about it, and it sounded beautiful and fun, because it's zikr, zikr, which is a Sufi practice of remembering beauty. Just remembering beauty. You can go outside and look around and see, I remember beauty. Beauty, I see beauty. Thomas Aquinas, a Christian mystic, said, God is beauty itself, beautifying everything. So the understanding of beauty isn't something that just is from one culture, one tradition, not another. That energy of God is beauty. Life is beauty. Allness is beauty. Is an energy that runs through all traditions. So right now, if you just want to go out and remember who you are, go ahead and look at the beauty in the world. Because life is a mirror. Ernest Holmes, our teaching is very much about that. You know, God is love, which we talk about a lot, and God is law, which is that mechanical practice, the automatic response to life, that life gives us what we put into it. So if we look at life as a mirror, how we are looking at life is what we're putting into life. And if we want to erase, if we're looking at life, anybody right now feeling a little negative? Well, if the best way to get rid of negative forces and negative thinking and negative stuff around us is get disinterested in it. Stop putting so much attention on what is negative or wrong or not right or what we're blaming, because the more energy we put into it, what's going to happen? It's going to reflect back to us. We're going to see more negativity in the world, in our lives, in ourselves, whatever it is. Because the more, remember that mirror? It's going to reflect to us. So if we start looking at beauty, what's going to reflect back to us? Beauty. We're going to start seeing the good in ourselves and understanding who we really are and why we're here. We're here because we're here to be beautiful in all of our imperfection and all of our mistakes and all of that. We're here to know that we're here on purpose. It's a process of discovery. And you know what? Creativity is, you can fill that in. I'm just going to say one thing. Creativity is messy. If we're really creating, it's going to be messy. Because we've got to practice, we've got to try. It's new, we've got to look, we do our best, but we can only be getting better if we keep working and practicing. There's a relationship specialist, and he says that, he says something that I can't find, but it's really good. I really like it. It's very important in life. But he talks about the relationship we have with ourself is going to be the most important relationship, because it's going to affect everything else, everyone else, every other relationship we have. So we've got to start with ourselves. So when he said, be true to yourself, that's going to reflect every relationship in our life when we start being authentic and real to ourselves. And again, that can happen when we have great difficulty in our life, or it can be a great opening of something exciting and new. When we take off our mask that's been covering us up because we've been afraid. And when we're afraid, we hide some of who we are. But when we take off the mask, we can start seeing the potential out here that just belongs to us. Only us. It's our potential, because we're each a bit different. Just our potential. We take off the mask, and we can do something else. We can really start healing. Because healing, you can't put something back together if you don't have all the pieces. If I handed you a broken vase and I kept 3 of the big pieces for myself just because I thought they were pretty, you couldn't put the vase back together. The same with us. If we want to heal and be our true selves, we have to have all the pieces out on the table. We've got to see ourselves as we are. And another really beautiful thing when we take that mask off, it's such a relief. Do you know how much energy it takes to not be true to ourselves and to be inauthentic? It takes so much energy. If you're feeling really, 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 really tired, either it's because you've partied a little too much, or it's because you're not being true to yourself, and it's so hard to live trying to remember what mask am I supposed to wear at this time? Being true to ourselves, we come fully present. Our full self comes wherever we go. It's not so hard. It's much, much easier. So the goal for us is always love. But we have to remember that life is always for us. Even though it doesn't feel like that, life is always for us, and there's something always bigger going on. Even now, in the midst of a time in life that is more trying than other times. It takes more physical work right now. It takes more physical work, but there's always something greater at work. There's always something bigger going on. But in order to find this bigger picture, we don't find it by looking outside. We don't find it by looking at the physical world. It takes time. When we get in touch with that great inner life, that great inner life. Remember, Rumi said, it's the heart. From the heart is where we can touch the sky. It's only from the heart. We find that great inner life within. And when you go within, Ernest Holmes calls it, we can find that divine person that's us, that's our spiritual nature in our heart. And that is the quote I say often because I just love it. That divine person has one hand outstretched to God and one outstretched to humanity. That's when I see a cross, I always see that's our spiritual nature and our human nature, and the connection point is the heart. So I want you to think of right now, just as you scan your world, just your life and your world right now, and knowing that life is a mirror, and it's reflecting back to us what we put into it. Where do you want to, well, Rumi says, my little Rumi, my Rumi guy, says, when your mirror isn't reflecting so clearly, it's because it's covered with rust that we'll just equate as negative, outdated thoughts that don't work for us anymore. And it needs to be cleaned. We have to decide, where do we need to clean that mirror? The mirror in our mind. You know, Ernest Holmes always talks about, the first line I ever learned from Ernest Holmes is, change your thinking, change your life. We can change what images are reflected to us when we change our thinking. So I'm going to ask you today, just what needs to be changed for you that you can truly have better reflections for your own life, something better. You know, I know that we always talk about love being the goal, but there's a practice of loving kindness that we can use every day. It's just so simple if we want to have that good reflection in life to come back to us. It can be just the practice of settling in to that space within, and just what is it you want in your life right now? Because as we start with ourselves, because as I said, ourself, this part of us is always the first thing that affects every other part of our life. We start with ourselves, then we go to another person or a group of people, and then the world. It's as simple as, may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be safe, may I be well. And you just sit with that. But then it's not enough to keep it to ourselves. You have to think of someone else in your life that needs, may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be safe, may I be well. And then go out to our world, may I be happy, may I be peaceful, may I be loving, may I be in joy. And we wish out, may all be that. And then we're here together. Now I'd have you repeat something after me, because once we've done this work, or we're living in our true selves, we can own what we are. We can say, I am wisdom, I am love, I am wise, I am happy, I am creative, I am abundant, I am creative, I am joyful, all of that. And once we've established ourselves in that, and as we say, we know it's true, and then act as if, even though you're not quite there yet. I am wise, I am abundant, I am loving, I am peaceful. And then know that within you, what you say is what you're reflecting back to yourself and out to the world. So I know the God in me sees the God in each and every one of you. I recognize just the beauty of your uniqueness and the special gifts you have to share. We're all here on purpose, and I just say thank you, God, for being here together, because together we can make a difference. We started with a prayer this morning, and let that prayer go out into our world, because we each have a different thing in our hearts that really matter, that we can make a difference. Let's just join together and know in this moment there is a light of goodness that is at the center of everything. And what we say, as we say this light is the light that shines the brightest. It is the light that absolutely burns away anything that's not true, that we can stand in that beautiful light of love, in the goodness of God, and then know that we are in this together, in the light, in the love, and that we make a difference. We make a difference right here, right now, and always. And so it is. Thank you all for being a part of the good that's unfolding right here and right now. so it is.